There are only a few weeks left in Chapter 4, Season 2, which basically means that the season is basically over. Now, I know the burning question that all of you have is, what do I think of the season? As a whole, I don't really like it. Let me explain. The most important thing to me in any game ever is the gameplay, and Fortnite's seasons are always dictated by, whatever items and weapons are in the loot pool. So, let's go ahead and start there. This season started by adding the Havoc Pump Shotgun and the Havoc Suppressed Assault Rifle. Just two pretty standard guns, The Havoc Pump is fine, but the Havoc AR, Suppressed AR, I don't know, I feel like it's very underpowered. If I use it, I feel like I'm at a disadvantage to everyone else in the match, so I don't like using it at all, ever. The main addition, though, at the start of the season was the Kinetic Blade. This season's mobility / melee item, so that's cool and dandy, but I got problems with it. The Kinetic Blade has its little dash attack that allows you to zip around, and I feel like it's a little too much. The cooldown for the little dashes, since you only have 3 of them, is really short, and I find myself getting frustrated by people just, spamming the hell out of it and just zipping around, and it's like, oh, thanks for wasting my time. Anyway, that was pretty much all the items added at the start of the season, fine little thing, Pretty much everything from Season 1 was still here. Oops! Except all of the random stuff that got vaulted for no reason. Cow catchers, the off-road tires, boars, wolves, no more riding animals, and oh yeah, dirt bikes, kind of one of the main features of last season and Chapter 4 as a whole. Yeah, I don't really know why. Thankfully though, dirt bikes returned a couple weeks later, but nothing else as of now. While not the most game-changing things, I would still say it's an overall net negative that those things have been removed. I don't know, they're just kind of fun and silly, and I like those fun and silly items. So yeah, at the beginning of the season, the loot pool and everything was just slimmed down a little bit, and, no big deal. That always usually happens, and that's usually made up for in the coming weeks with, the weekly additions of new and returning items. Oops! Correct me if I'm wrong, but that pretty much hasn't really happened at all this season, like barely ever. The only 2 additions to the loot pool I can think of was the lock-on pistol, which is cool, I like it, and then the classic submachine gun, which is weird and doesn't really fit at all and is kind of worthless. Fortnite has always thrived on the constant changes and additions to keep things feeling fresh and not lame, and that has really been lacking this season. Obviously, I did gloss over, a couple big elephants in the room, that being the collaborations. So we got that Attack on Titan stuff. Yeah, they're cool. The Thunder Spear weapons, they suck nuts, they suck. And the ODM gear, cool mobility thing, but, kind of similar to the Spider-Man mythics of yore. Been there, done that. And of course, we got the Star Wars event that's been going on, but we've had Star Wars stuff for years now, coming and going, and it's not really that cool anymore. Yeah, we got the lightsabers now with the little force powers, but the event was cool for the first week, and then it went on for another week, and it went on for a 3rd week. It was 3 weeks long, and I got bored. Nothing going on, in those 3 weeks, nothing added. Now, Spider-Man stuff, the Spider-Verse, I don't really care. Now these collaborations, obviously they bring lots of buzz and stuff to the game, which is cool. I don't really care. I care about what they add to the game in terms of gameplay, and yeah, some of it was cool, but also some of it is kind of lame and kind of boring, and it's all just kind of temporary for the time being. It's no permanent mainstay, like a new gun, like the lock-on pistol. So with all that considered, yeah, this season's felt really dry and kind of boring to me. Now, there have been some big things in this season, I've mentioned, just the other week, we got the old ranked mode for Fortnite, big ol' update. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that really changed anything gameplay-wise. I don't think there's any tweaks to the loot pool, no nothing. It's just ranked mode. Wow, it's a ranked mode. I don't really care about competitive, me personally. I tried it out, but it's just playing the game, but with, I can earn ranks now. This season has just not had many additions to the loot pool. And you can see what I'm talking about if you just, go back in time and look at other seasons, Season 1, for example. Almost constant, weekly changes, new thing, unvaulted thing, some little random stuff. some to keep you interested. Alright, the last little bit I'll say about the gameplay is the reality augments, or perks if you will. So these were a big new feature last season with Chapter 4, and I really liked them. They were a very cool addition to add some more variety and some spice to every game to make it feel more unique, and it just made things overall more fun. Some are kind of pretty useful, some are just kind of goofy, but overall really cool. And they constantly added lots of them throughout the season, and there was like 30 something by the end of season 1, so like, you know, cool, awesome. Oops, when season 2 launched, they like gutted half of them, and the ones that stayed and the few new ones added were really lame in my opinion. All of these augments in season 2, they're just kind of like little tiny things, like the dumpster diving. Hide in a dumpster and get like a little bit of ammo, maybe a shield potion. When's the last time you saw a player hide in a dumpster? It rarely happens. All of the augments this season were just really minor and not major like last season. For example, you had the Riftjector seat, that's what it's called. Basically, a free rift to go whenever your shield breaks. Yeah, kind of annoying, but pretty game-changing and interesting. I think the one was called Zero Chance, that when you broke an opponent's shield, you got the little 0-point dash effects, and you could zip around and catch up to them. That was really cool, one of my favorites. Awesome. You know, all those are gone, and it's pretty lame. The season started out with like less than 20 augments, but some have been added and some have returned. So as of now, you know, a couple weeks into the season, I feel like the augments are pretty good. Basically for the first like 2/3 of the season, augments were pretty lame. I found myself just kind of, you know, pressing the button and not even caring what things showed up. I pressed the button to get the thing off my screen. The gameplay this season has not been my favorite. Pretty much all aspects of the gameplay, loophole, that was just a lot weaker than any of the previous seasons we've had in like the past year. And I just found it a lot less fun in my opinion. All the weapons and items available are like fine, they function, but a lot of the weapons feel a little too strong, and it's like, oh, well, if I don't pick that up, then I'm at a severe disadvantage. For example, the Red Eye Assault Rifle, I feel like totally invalidates the use of the Cobra DMR, even kind of the Heavy Sniper, but not really. But basically, having that Red Eye in the game, it's like, why would you use some of these other guns when this is clearly just kind of better if you know how to use it right? What is it called? The Mythic Pulse Rifle, that's really strong. There's all the exotics, heisted things that are pretty strong. I don't know, balance is, you know, not awful, but it feels a little wacky, and it feels like a lot of stuff is just kind of barfed in without much thought or consideration, and it's just kind of weird. Not bad per se, but yeah, just little nitpicks. Lots of content droughts this season where we go weeks at a time with not really anything to do, and then kind of blam a collaboration update, which, you know, are cool, but they don't really do it for me as much as, you know, cool new original item and, you know, original stuff. I like new original things. Also, most of the time these collaborations, they just kind of amount to like, wow, look, we put this character as a skin in the game. A cosmetic isn't really gonna do much for me. So what else has been going on this season? Well, of course, we got the little voice-acted narrative quest lines. I don't give a piss about them. So me personally, I kind of find like the little story they're telling with like the syndicates and blah 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 really boring and uninteresting. And also, it doesn't help that there's been 4 parts to this little quest line, and they've all had like 3-4 weeks in between them, it feels like. And so it's like, dude, I do not care at all. This is lame and boring, and then there's just too much time in between them. And a little quest, it kind of keeps me interested, but yeah, no, not this season, so I don't really care. Moral of the story is, there really hasn't been a lot this season that's been keeping me invested in what the hell's going on. There's like cracks, fault lines or something, and earthquakes appearing on the map, and now they got like gross vines coming out of them. Dude, I don't care. I think it's been all but confirmed that there won't be a live event this season, which is kind of a bummer because the last one we got in December was kind of bad. So yeah, we're a couple weeks out from season 3, and like, Spider-Man again. Hey guys, play with Spider-Man again. It's just not a lot happening. I just found myself getting pretty bored this season. A lot more bored than I have been with Fortnite in like the past 2 years. maybe you could say it's a me problem with burning myself out and whatnot, which is valid. But also, there wasn't a whole lot going on this season when you take a look at the big picture and, you know, compare it to years past. I haven't even talked about everything. There's a little map change, you know. We got the new Japanese Neo stuff, biome, all that stuff. Cool, I guess. It's pretty cool for like the first month, and you know, the effect wears off, and you know, it's just kind of cool. There's the new vehicles, I'll put in quotation marks. There's like the drifter car, it's just a car. The motorcycles, it's just the worst dirt bike, honestly, so that stuff doesn't matter to me. Also, this video serves as a very long and convoluted way to explain why I'm not going to be making another little Fortnite video on this season just because I don't want to, and I don't want to force myself something that I don't want to do because it's boring. Anyway, I hope I've made my point clear. I'm not very good at explaining my thoughts that go on up in here. Hopefully Season 3 is better than this one. Usually when things are kind of dying down and feeling pretty boring, that's because Epic is cooking up something that's to come in the near future, and so kind of like the calm before the storm, if you catch my drift. I'm gonna go back to playing Zelda, so bye.
Youch.